Region, discussion of the pectoral region and axilla. We have reflected the skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia. It is called the pectoral fascia, and it is lies above to the pectoralis major muscles. And this one is after reflection of the pectoral fascia. This is the pectoralis major. This pectoralis major, which is attached to the second to six ribs and costal cartilage and lateral wall of lateral side of the sternum, as well as clavicular head, which is attached to the medial two-thirds of the anterior surface of the clavicle. This is the clavicle, and it is inserted on the lateral lip of the bicipital groove of the humerus, and it is innervated by the median and lateral pectoral nerve. Here you can see this is a nerve. This is a medial pectoral nerve, and which pierced to the pectoralis minor, and then it supplies to the pectoralis major, and this is the lateral pectoral nerve, and so it's supplied by the medial and lateral pectoral nerve. This is the pectoralis minor muscles. It is attached to the third, fourth and fifth ribs and costal cartilage, and it is inserted on the coracoid process, which is also supplied by the medial pectoral nerve, as well as communications between the medial and lateral pectoral nerve. This is the communications. Here you can see this is the acromial artery, but this is the communications between the medial and lateral pectoral nerve, and it supplies the pectoralis major and as well as pectoralis minor. Now we will discuss about the axilla. Axilla, it is the pyramidal in shape. Here it is the pyramidal in shape. Apex is narrow and base is broad. This is the lower end, it is the broad base. This one is the anterior wall of the axilla. Anterior wall of the axilla, which is formed by the skin, superficial fascia, pectoralis major. Once we reflect the pectoralis major, you can see the pectoralis minor. And between the clavicle and pectoralis minor, this is the clavipectoral fascia. We have already removed the clavipectoral fascia, which encloses the pectoralis minor, and it becomes continuous as a suspensory ligaments. And this suspensory ligament, which is attached here on the base of the axilla, this is the base of the axilla, which is formed by the axillary fascia, and it is attached, the suspensory ligament which is attached to the axillary fascia. So anterior wall of the axilla, which is formed by the pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, clavipectoral fascia, and it encloses the pectoralis minor, and it becomes continuous as a suspensory ligaments. The medial wall of the axilla, this is the medial wall. This is the medial wall which is formed by the axilla. It is formed by the 3 to 4th intercostal space, and it is covered by the intercostal muscles, as well as it is covered by the serratus anterior muscles. This is the serratus anterior, fiber of the serratus anterior muscles. The lateral wall, this is the lateral wall of the axilla, and this lateral wall of the axilla, which is very narrow, which is actually the convergence of the anterior wall and posterior wall of the axilla, which is converged, and this narrow area, this part, my thumb, this area, it is called the narrow area. It is the lateral wall, which is formed by the which is pierced by the this is the musculocutaneous nerve, and it pierced to the coracobrachialis muscle and upper part of the biceps muscles. So it is lateral wall which is formed by the coracobrachialis and biceps muscles and upper part of the humerus. So it is a lateral wall. The posterior wall of the axilla, this is the posterior wall which is formed by the three muscles. Here you can see this is the subscapularis muscles, and this one is the teres major muscles, and the most lower fiber, here you can see this fiber, it is the latissimus dorsi fibers. So it is formed by the subscapularis. You cannot see here properly the teres minor, but here the teres minor, and this is the teres major. In between there is a circumflex scapular artery which is passed. So here this is the teres minor, and this one is the teres major. In between there is a circumflex scapular artery which is passed. It is a branch of the subscapular artery, and the most lower fiber, most lower part of the posterior axillary fold, which is formed by the latissimus dorsi. So the posterior wall of the axilla, which is formed by the subscapularis, teres minor, teres major, and latissimus dorsi muscles. So this is the boundary of the axilla. Now the content of the axilla, which is mainly formed by the infraclavicular part of the brachial plexus. So we can't see the root and trunk of the brachial plexus, but we can see the cord of the brachial plexus. And so the cord of the brachial plexus and branches of the cord, there are three cord of the brachial plexus: medial cord, lateral cord, and posterior cord. It is related with the axillary artery. Medial cord lies into the second part, it lies medial to the axillary artery. Lateral cord lies lateral to the axillary artery, and posterior cord, which lies posterior to the axillary artery. Always you have to remember that axillary vein lies antero-inferior to the axillary artery. It lies anterior to the axillary artery and slightly inferior to the axillary artery. So before we discuss about the content of the axilla, the content of the axilla are the axillary vein and its tributaries, axillary artery and its branches, brachial plexus and its branches. Now we will discuss about the branches of the brachial plexus one by one. So first of all, we see the branches of the brachial plexus. This is the medial cord. You can see this is a medial pectoral nerve. This one is the medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, and this medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, it is anastomosis with the intercostobrachial nerve, and it supplies to the medial side of the skin of the arm, as well as it supplies to the skin of the base of the axilla. So first one is the medial pectoral, which supplies to the pectoralis minor and pectoralis major. Second is the medial cutaneous nerve of the arm, which supplies to the medial side of the skin of the arm, and it is anastomosis with the intercostobrachial nerve. It is a branch of the T2, and it also supplies to the base of skin of the base of the axilla. We have removed all the things. Third one is this is the median nerve. Median nerve, it is formed by the branch of the medial as well as lateral cord, medial root of median nerve and lateral root of lateral cords. This united, it forms a median nerve. So third branch of the medial cord, it is the medial root of median nerve. This is the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, which supplies the skin of the medial side of the forearm, and this one is the ulnar nerve. So these are the 5 branches of the medial cord. You have to remember 4M, medial pectoral, medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. This is the medial cutaneous nerve of the arm. This one is the medial root of median nerve, medial cord, and this is the ulnar nerve. So these are the branches of the medial cord. Now we will discuss about the branches of the lateral cord. The branches of the lateral cord, which is formed by the, here you can see the first branch is, it is a lateral pectoral nerve, and lateral pectoral nerve pierces to the clavipectoral fascia along with this acromioclavicular thoracoacromial vessels, and along with cephalic vein and lymphatics. And another branches, it is the lateral root of median nerve, and third one is the musculocutaneous nerve. This is the musculocutaneous nerve. You can see this musculocutaneous nerve, it supplies to the muscles of the front of the arm, mainly it pierces to the coracobrachialis, it supplies to the biceps and brachialis muscles. 3 muscles which is supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve, and it becomes continuous after supplies to the muscles of the front of arm. It becomes continuous as a lateral cutaneous nerve of the arm. Now we will discuss about the branches of the posterior cord. The continuation of the posterior cord, which is the radial nerve. This is the radial nerve which passes inside the radial groove, and it supplies to the whole muscles of the back of the arm as well as a muscle of the back of the forearm. This is the second nerve. This is the axillary nerve, and axillary nerve which passes into the scapular region by the quadrangular space, and this quadrangular space passes inside the scapular region, and axillary nerve supplies to the deltoid and teres minor muscles. This is the axillary nerve. Third one is the lower subscapular nerve which supplies to the teres major and subscapularis muscles, and this is the upper subscapular nerve. This is the upper subscapular which supplies to the subscapularis, and this is the nerve to latissimus dorsi. It is also called the thoracodorsal nerve, and it passes inside the latissimus dorsi muscles, and it supplies to the latissimus dorsi muscles. So the last nerve which is attached to the lateral side of the thoracic wall, and it is the nerve to serratus anterior. It is also called the long thoracic nerve. It is called the long thoracic nerve. It supplies to the serratus anterior muscles. So this is the long thoracic nerve. Now we will discuss about the this is the axillary vein. The structure which pierces to the clavipectoral fascia. This is the cephalic vein, small stump of the cephalic vein. This is the acromiothoracic artery, and this one is the lateral pectoral nerve. These are the three structure, as well as lymphatics which is pierced to the clavipectoral fascia. Clavipectoral fascia which is from the clavicle to the pectoralis minor, and it encloses the subclavius. This is the subclavius muscles, and this one is the pectoralis minor. Both are enclosed by the clavipectoral fascia. And once it encloses the subclavius muscle, it anterior lamina, which is attached with the periosteum of the clavicle, and posterior lamina, it is continues as an investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. The inferior layer of the clavipectoral fascia which is enclosed the pectoralis minor, and it becomes continuous as a suspensory ligaments. Now we will discuss about the axillary artery. Here you can see this is the axillary artery. Axillary artery have three parts. It divides into the three parts by the pectoralis minor muscles. Proximal to the pectoralis minor, this is the first part. Behind to this pectoralis minor, it is the second part, and distal to the lower end of the teres major, this is the teres major. Lower end of the teres major, it is called the third part of the axillary artery, and it becomes continuous as a brachial artery. Now the first part of the axillary artery, it gives the one branches. This is the axillary artery. It gives the first branch. It is called the superior thoracis. It supplies to the intercostal muscles and superior part of the thorax. The second part gives the two branches. Second part gives the two branches. It is the acromiothoracis. Acromiothoracis which divide into the four terminal branches. One which is goes inside the pectoral. It is pectoral branches. One which is goes towards the inside the deltoid. It is a deltoid branch. One which is inside the clavicular, which one broken, and another is the acromion branches. These are the four branches of the acromiothoracis artery. Once again, pectoral branches, deltoid branches, clavicular branches, and acromion branches. And this one is the lateral thoracic artery. This is the lateral thoracic artery. It is along with the lateral wall of the thorax. Third part, it gives the three branches. Here you can see this is the axillary artery. The smaller one, it is the anterior circumflex humeral artery, which is passes into the anterior part of the humerus, and this is a posterior circumflex humeral artery which is passes behind to the humerus. Along with it, axillary nerve. This is the axillary nerve, and it both axillary posterior circumflex humeral artery and axillary nerve which passes into the quadrangular space of the scapular regions, and this one is the largest branch of the axillary artery. It is called the subscapular artery, and it gives the circumflex scapular artery, which is passes into the upper triangular space between the above by the teres minor and below by the teres major, and it becomes continuous as a thoracodorsal artery. So this is the thoracodorsal artery. This circumflex scapular artery, which makes the anastomosis around scapula by anastomosis with the, we will see inside the scapular region the suprascapular artery, and deep on the medial side from the medial border of the scapula, deep branch of the transverse cervical artery. So these are the two branches, suprascapular as well as deep branch of the transverse cervical. Both are the branches of the thyrocervical trunk. It is a branch of subclavian, and it is a this circumflex scapular, it is a branch of the axillary. So ultimately it is the anastomosis between the subclavian and axillary artery. Another thing, axillary artery, it is a beginning, it is a continuation of the subclavian artery at the outer border of the first rib. It is end at the lower border of the teres major. It becomes continuous as a brachial artery. So this is about to the content of the axilla, as well as branch of the axillary artery, branches of the brachial plexus, and tributaries of the axillary veins. Also inside the axilla there is a 5 group of the lymph nodes: anti-axillary lymph node, post-axillary lymph nodes, central axillary lymph node, lateral axillary lymph node, and apical group of the lymph nodes. Lateral group of the lymph node, which mainly drain the whole of the upper limbs, and except the thumb, the posterior axillary lymph node, which is along with the posterior axillary fold, and it mainly receives the lymph from the posterior part of the thoracic wall, mainly the scapular region. Anti-axillary lymph node, mainly it receives the lymph from the anti-axillary anterior pectoral region, as well as it receives the lymph from the breast. And the central, which is receives the whatever the lymph which is received by the lateral lymph nodes, it is drained into the central, and central also directly receives the lymph from the great thumbs, and ultimately it goes inside the apical lymph nodes. So this is about to the axilla. So we have discussed about the axilla and pectoral region and boundaries of the axilla, content of the axilla. You have to remember this subscapularis muscles, it is called the forgotten muscles because it is difficult to it is deep muscles and difficult to elicitate it actions. So it is called the forgotten muscles.